Hi, I'm Paul Haenle, Director of the Carnegie Tsinghua Center. Shortly after the meeting between President Xi and Prime Minister Modi of India in Wuhan, China for an informal summit, the Carnegie Tsinghua Center held the Carnegie Global Dialogue China-India panel, featuring Raja Mohan, Director of the Carnegie Center in New Delhi, India, and Frederick Greer, Senior Fellow in the Carnegie South Asia Program, where we examined pressing issues in the China-India relationship, the impact of the Trump administration's America First foreign policy, and the revival of great power dynamics between all of these countries.
Look, I think it's very interesting. I mean, Indo-China relationship have gone through many phases. And between 1988 to 2008, we had the normalized relationship where we kept the boundary dispute aside, tried to expand economic cooperation. And that worked well till 2008. But after 2008, again, I think the boundary has become live. There's more military tension on the border. The economic cooperation has led to very big, massive trade deficits in favor of China. Because of the rise of China and the emergence of India, there's more friction in the region today.
Last summer, long-standing territorial disputes culminated in a tense escalation in tensions over the Doklam border. The two countries continue to disagree over India's inclusion in the nuclear suppliers group, and there's increased competition for regional influence, and that's been exacerbated by Indian strategic concerns over China's Belt and Road Initiative.
And I think what we've seen happen at Wuhan is that President Xi and Prime Minister Modi have decided we need a new framework to manage differences and to expand cooperation. So the two-line challenge for India and China is that one, minimize and manage differences because they're not all going to be resolved in the near term. At the same time, try to reduce the salience by expanding economic and other cooperation. I mean, what the Belt and Road Initiative is an expression of China's economic rise, much like the previous European colonial powers.
Both countries understood the opportunity that globalization offered them and have hugely benefited from it. And yet, they are benefiting in a paradoxical way. India is complicated to access, but I mean, once you access it, everything is fine. This is a level playing field and so on. China is not a level playing field so far. And that's where there are more and more difficulties. And a lot of the tension which exists between China and India today are related to that.
And as in the European case, the flag follows the trade. There will be strategic consequences for the rise of for the BRI projects. So for India, the challenge is not to merely dismiss it, but to say that, look, given the historical trends, are we going to forever oppose the BRI, or do we find a practical way of cooperation?
The huge trade deficit is a problem for India, but it's also a guarantee for India. Because who has a vested interest in maintaining good economic relations with India? That is China, because China is usually benefiting from it.
And the Chinese too, I think, have moved away from the position, you just have to come and endorse the BRI as a whole, to one of saying, okay, let's sit down together, forget what we call it. If both of us are interested in connectivity, can we do something together? And that's where the agreement between President Xi and Prime Minister Modi to do a joint economic project in Afghanistan, I think opens the door for resolving some of the differences on the Belt and Road.
The Trump administration's America First policy and its new foreign policy approaches have further complicated these regional dynamics. The U.S. has been promoting a free and open Indo-Pacific as part of its Indo-Pacific strategy, and this has highlighted the important role that India plays in U.S. foreign policy and regional relations, at a time where we see the U.S. increasingly framing China as a strategic competitor and challenging Beijing on issues like trade and even on Taiwan.
Well, the Trump factor is always the same. This is unpredictability. And there's partly this unpredictability that brought Xi and Modi together in Wuhan. There are indeed some positives. The problem is they are matched by policies which are inconsistent. Not necessarily willingly, but as a result.
Despite these challenges, we see China and India taking some steps to develop closer relations in a world of increasing uncertainty.
One, that India and China should not allow their differences to become disputes. And two, that they need to find ways of expanding cooperation. if it is a constantly shifting alliances between the three of them, that of course will generate huge amount of instability and create a lot of problems.
That's it for Carnegie Tsinghua's 5th annual Carnegie Global Dialogue series. Thank you for watching as we explored China's role in the world, bringing together Carnegie scholars from across Carnegie's global network together with Chinese scholars here in Beijing. Stay tuned for more events and activities from the Carnegie Tsinghua Center, and be sure to check out the Carnegie Tsinghua website at carnegietsinghua.org.